Naja John Madden in Acapulco, Mexico, sitting on the side of my bed at 3 in the morning. Now, this time it's not just because I was a crazy artist that I was up at 3. People next door were partying hardy at midnight, and I had gone to bed very, very early. I'd had a lot of sleep already. So I got up, and I've been up. But I'm soothing myself back to sleep with a gorgeous piece of music, Pachelbel Canon in D. Many of you probably know it. I'll include a link to a playlist with many, many versions of it. And I've been using that as my sleep music. But I want to share my favorite experience with that music and one of my all-time favorite dance experiences. I'm an inveterate dancer since elementary school in my little bedroom. I was at a workshop at the New England Center in Amherst, Massachusetts, run at the time by Jack Canfield, who's a name you may know from the Chicken Soup books. At that time, he was a guitar-playing Gestalt therapist, bright, fresh, so alive. And I went to several workshops at his personal growth center in Massachusetts. And I had done an extraordinarily deep piece of work where I had uncovered memories of how, as a child, I actively participated in shoving my little brother into the background because it was a toxic family. There wasn't enough love to go around. I was the firstborn, the prince, and I took it. I just took that role and played it because in my little child consciousness, hey, there's not enough love to go around, I'm grabbing it. I was so horrified that I had played such an active role in the scarring of my brother, and in that scar, he carried that forever. And Jack said after I'd done this piece of work, take the afternoon off, go up the mountain. And I did. I climbed a beautiful mountain. There's a tower at the top, and the wind was blowing, and I was like in my early 30s. This is a 40-year-old memory. Wind was blowing, and I said, take it. Take my trauma, take my shame, blow it away from me. And it did, pretty much. And I came back down, and in the workshop, the afternoon session, I guess, was ending, and somebody put on this piece of music. And at that time, I wasn't a modern dancer. I kind of am now. Among all the different ways I dance, I love to dance to slow, beautiful pieces of music and just be graceful, be graceful. And it was probably my first experience of dancing in that way, of just free form, expressing what that music meant to me. It was gorgeous, and I remember it to this day, probably 35 years later at this point. I encourage you to dance, folks, and I love to coach people on how to dance. It's one of the things I do. I can help people learn pretty quickly to dance. I'll just say right now, dance for yourself. Don't try to do anything that looks like dance. Don't try to impress anybody else. Don't care what anybody else thinks. See, how does my unique body at this unique moment in time want to respond to this music? And play around. Don't take it serious.